the Volkswagen California. You've all heard of it. T6, Grand California, and in the not too distant future actually, the VW ID Buzz California camper will be with us. But what about this? This is the Caddy California, the smallest and by a long way cheapest offering from VW's Vanlife selection. Is it any good though? That's the purpose of this particular episode. In order to understand that, I'm going to spend the next day and night living with the little Caddy Cali. Is it going to be a California dream or a nightmare? We shall see. I'm Jonny Smith. Welcome to the Late Break Show. So what is the Caddy California? Well, the Caddy is Volkswagen's small van. It's now in its 5th generation. It's been recently revamped. It's kind of a little bit more fared in. It was an acquired taste when it was done. I quite like it actually. And also the Caddy California is available in 2 wheelbases. A standard wheelbase, and then you've got the Maxi, which is what this is. It's 353mm longer, which gives you that extra boot space, which I think makes a big difference for this particular conversion. It's worth mentioning also, I believe this is the only manufacturer conversion of a small camper van that you can buy through a dealer. There are things like the Berlingo and the Rifter, those sorts of things, but you have to buy them through a second party conversion. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that VW have made a point of bringing this stuff kind of in-house. You see, the interesting thing for me about the Caddy Cali is it's a 5-seater family car, a practical sort of MPV shape. It doesn't look particularly flash. If you're looking for some sort of two-tone, real kind of like wow retro California thing, it isn't that. It's almost the opposite. What it doesn't show is what's special to it. But you can seat in this, you can sleep 2 people, they say, and with the optional Annex on the back, 4 people in total. It's a 5-seat car, but it's also a smaller footprint than a regular big camper van. Oh, and price. I think these start at 32,000 quid, so a far cheaper offering than even a multivan, let alone a California or a Grand California or a forthcoming Buzz California, which I know we all want. And this isn't offered in electric, unfortunately. There's petrol and diesel options, which I'll put on the screen now. But yeah, you can't buy it in electric yet. So inside the Caddy, 2 sliding doors. On the Cali Plus pack, which is a pack that this car actually has, you get soft closed doors, which means when you're out in the middle of the night, you need to go for a quick wee. You don't wake up all the campsite by rolling and slamming the door. So that's quite cool, because obviously there's no toilet here, unless you bring a porta potty and put it in your tent. 3 adults can comfortably sit across here. I'm sitting behind myself. There are these little picnic benches, which are always useful, and tons of headspace. That is an optional 1.4 square metre panoramic roof. I personally love pano roofs. It makes a big difference when you're sleeping here. Folding the bed down, right. Oh, forgot to mention, part of the Cali pack, down here, 2 USB-Cs, and crucially, you get a 3-pin plug socket with an inverter, a 230-volt inverter, which means on a vehicle like this, which doesn't come as standard with fridge, freezer, or anything like that, you can always bring your own. I've got one that I've had for years. Here's my little funky travel fridge, and it runs off a 3-pin or a cigarette lighter. So you could put this somewhere under the back, plug it in. Come on, Johnny. There we go. I can plug that in, keep my beer / milk / orange juice nice and cold. I think that's an option worth having. Or if you want to be thrifty, like videographer Matty, you could not go for the built-in inverter option. You could just get something like one of these really neat mobile power packs that you charge before you turn up, and you've got numerous options to power stuff like that, especially if it's low draw. Right, here's the procedure for the bed. What you do is, the first thing you do, and this is the faffy bit, these 2 seats have to be far forward. Driver and passenger seat, you wind them as far forward as you can on the wheel. Done. Pull that. Done. Pull this. Done. Obviously you can have a 60-40 split during daily life, and this is how your bed sits. And it is a bit of a sort of IKEA origami setup. You can see the the kind of plastic coil springs. This comes down, and I think this is interesting because if you look, it's not actually connected in any way to the bed. I've done it for the other side already. You've got a fold down leg, and these legs, these pegs locate in these notches. Here's your B-pillar notch, that sits in there. That then is completely fixed. That is a bed that suspends above the seats, and there's loads of space down here in the footwells for storage. So when you are sleeping, you still have space for bits and bobs, and of course you've got space at the front, and if you put the Annex tent on, which is an option, you've got more storage there. So it's actually, the more you think about this car, the more it seems attractive. At first you think, oh, it's a bit token, but actually I'm starting to warm to it more and more. So this bed, they reckon this bed is 1980 mil long, so 2 meters long, by 1070 mil wide, so just over a metre wide. They reckon that's for 2 people. Adult and a child, maybe. An intimate adult couple, maybe. Yeah, there's no pop-up roof, remember. So this is it. You climb in, you lie down, you chill. Privacy. We all like a bit of privacy now and again. The Cali Plus pack, which this car is equipped with, as I said before, comes with tinted windows, which means you can't really see in the sides. But when it comes to camping, you do get a curtain kit, and that curtain kit is new and improved. Allegedly, this stuff is really easy because it's magnetic. Let's see. Oh, okay, yeah. So these little curtains, look, they just click on, and you've got yourself a bit of privacy. You've got it even on the pano roof. If you order it with a pano roof, it has its own panoramic roof curtain. Not that you'd want that, I wouldn't. I'm not actually bothered about curtains at all. But so, as I've already said, this is the maxi version of the Caddy body style, so slightly longer wheelbase, which I would highly recommend given that there's not a lot of space anyway that you're playing with. In the back, this is what it looks like when everything is folded down. This is the bed, this sort of origami style folding bed. And this is the drawer unit which it comes with. It kind of looks like something from an office, but actually it's a kitchenette, which utilises the tailgate being open and having a 1-hob gas cooker. Little prep area here, food prep area that's stainless steel. And then, oh, I've got to pull these, I think. Yep, those. And then underneath, they feel substantial actually. Underneath here, I've got cutlery, I can pull it back there, storage. I've got an apple in there, I knew I'd put it somewhere. And then here, you've got a little kind of satchel for your small dining table and 2 chairs, and also these, which I'll demonstrate in a minute, which is sort of fly screens to trap in the front 2 windows for ventilation. Now you might have seen that there was a bag in the window here, and that is this kit bag, which locates with these kind of locks here and hangs there neatly, can carry up to 5 kilos, and you can put whatever you want in these sort of tailor-built satchels. What I like about it is if you want to remove them and use them as little suitcases, you can, but you can keep them mounted there. They block out the window, and it means if you're in there getting dressed, let's say, you've got all your kit sitting there. So these just go into the window. Twist. It's always easier to do it when you're not demonstrating it on a video, I find. So they're locked on, and then the bottom one, to stop them from sailing about, they've got these little pop locks. There we go, 1, 2, that. So you've got those little kit bag windows there. Again, maximising the space. So it's not a huge amount of boot space, but it's a lot more than it would be if you were to buy the standard wheelbase car. Oh, and then you've also got the optional Annex tent, which connects to here and gives you another 2-berth kind of tent setup or extra storage, and you believe you can drive away from it and leave it in situ at the campsite. I will now demonstrate how that goes together. you get the picture. We've spent a little bit of time on this, but approximately what happens is this here connects to the back of the car with this sort of elasticated skirt, making sure you don't put the exhaust in there. That fly sheet, if the weather's really bad, goes over the top of this. 2 people can live in there, 2 people can sleep in there, or 2 people with a load of stuff. I'm not going to lie, it's a bit of a faff, but then again, when you first set a tent up and you've never seen it before, it is a bit of a pain in the arse a lot of the time. So read into that what you will. Personally, I'll probably just go with the trailer tent, you know, and that and a roof box perhaps. So I'm now heading out on the road for a drive in the Caddy. I've had a brief drive of the Caddy van before. The main difference, apart from the bed and the obvious stuff, is that VW say this has been much more heavily insulated than the regular panel van. And I have to say, I've noticed that pretty quickly. Everything does feel well insulated and kind of cocooned. Probably even more so if it didn't have the pano roof, but I like the pano roof. It's 900 quid well spent. In fact, the California option pack is probably well spent. There's 3 engine options for the Caddy Cali. You've got a petrol 1.5 TSI turbo, and that comes with a manual 6-speed or the DSG box like this. You've got the flagship turbo diesel 2 litre TDI, which is this one, 122 horsepower, and that is DSG only. And then you've got the low end version of this 2 litre diesel, which is 101 horsepower, I think, or just a little bit more than that. And that is manual only. Yeah. The petrol is 42, something like that, MPG. This diesel promises to be over 50. I think it depends on whether you're doing lots of shorter journeys. I would probably err on petrol at the moment. That's just my personal preference. I would not buy a new diesel right now. I've actually been driving this car around for 3 days before doing this this review, because I just wanted to put a few miles on the clock and get to know it. And I've really enjoyed driving it because it drives more like a car. It feels like a high-roofed, better visibility Golf, really. This is running on 16-inch alloy wheels. The alloy wheels don't look great. I think it would look better on sort of utilitarian smart steelies. But what's good about it is its driving behaviour. It feels nimble, it feels good, and of course 16-inch tyres are not very expensive. So you're not going to bust the budget replacing your rubber. This has got the optional 10.25-inch infotainment system. We've talked a lot about VW's revised infotainment with the slide bars, which is not illuminated at night, which is just a weird oversight. And you've got numerous controls on the steering wheel. But what I do like is it's not too complicated. It's not too busy. It's integrated into the dash. I'm not sure about the quality of the plastics. I don't find them to be particularly good. I'm sure they'll last. They just don't feel very luxurious. But maybe I'm missing the point. Maybe they shouldn't be luxurious. This is all about kind of van life utility. And if that's the case, it's absolutely fine. I would always be trying to keep the price closer to the 30 grand and further away than the 40 grand ordering this. Because then I would probably buy a few choice accessories to help me with my camping life. Camping life, van life. There's van life there. Most Californias have got kind of jolly two-tone paintwork, and there's that escapism vibe to it, which is aesthetically pleasing. The Caddy California I would not say is aesthetically pleasing. Its exterior is distinctly dowdy, really. It's about what you can do with it, not about what it looks like. Token kind of decals that are neither here nor there. The wheels, boring 16-inch alloys. I think it would look better on some adventurous kind of steelies with a bit more purpose. And maybe, I'm not a fan of vinyl wrapping, but a two-tone vinyl wrap might work for it. If you bought it in black, it probably looks like a private ambulance. And I don't know if you can buy it in any kind of vibey colours like orange or sky blue or anything like that. So this is videographer Matty's own car. It's a lovely Japanese import Honda Element. It's got plenty of interior space and a really nicely packaged kind of flat seating system, which you can use to camp overnight. Now, camping in cars is nothing new. You can adapt a car like this to have extra stowage, awnings, tents, fridges, power, you name it. If you've got anything like this of interest, why don't you let me know in the comments below, because I'm always interested to see what people are doing. Welcome to my nomadic crib. Here we are in the Caddy Cali. Got the bedding in, everything set up. Of course, it's not a pop-top vehicle, but this has the optional panoramic roof, which I think is about 900 and something quid. And this is the perfect time to appreciate it, because when you're lying on your back, you can look out at the stars, if it's not cloudy, and appreciate a little bit of nature. And these here are tinted windows along here, or you can put some curtains up. So I'm looking forward to a decent night's sleep, because this bed is very similar to other Californias. You can see here they've got can you see the design? This sort of like springy plastic effect which simulates a proper mattress, and you've got some thick segmented foam on there. So I've had good experience sleeping in all Californias, the Grand, the regular, and now hopefully this. Width-wise, is this enough room for two people? Intimately, probably. Comfortably, for one person, and that's what I'm going to do. Got my favourite pillow, got my favourite nighttime reading. Thought I'd pick this one, being a Volkswagen and all. I've had three of these, and loads of lights, like bedside lights. So just gonna always take your shoes off. I mean, what sort of a filth monger wears shoes inside their camper van? Also soft clothes, which helps. It's important to have a bit of soft clothes in your life. Not soft clothes, soft clothes. Don't mind me. Of course, this is the tricky bit. Ordinarily, I think you'd probably take your clothes off, maybe outside the van, or is that a bit wrong? I don't know. Oh. Merch is available on the Late Break Show shop. You're gonna have to. I'm taking my trousers off, so just give me a bit of time, yeah? Give me a bit of time. Yeah. You see, I've seen a lot, especially I think since lockdown, since the world has all gone a bit mad. We crave a little bit of kind of like simple escapism. And there's so many people converting vans, isn't there? Regular vans, and there's so many people converting people carriers, Japanese imports, things like Matty's Element, which is perfect for sort of day van type setup. I did have a beer. Where's my beer? I don't normally drink in bed, but it's a little treat for me. Stars are out. It's dead quiet. It's beautifully quiet here. The good thing is to set the bed up really quick, and to put it back, you get into the habit of it really fast, and then of course it becomes a regular sized family car again. And that for me is really important, because it means it's sort of a jack of all trades. In fact, it might not be a master of being a camper or a motorhome, but it's an excellent family car when it's not being a camper. And in a world where we're probably trying to, tighten our belts a bit, it maybe ticks more boxes, spends less dormant time like a lot of motorhomes and campers do. Anyway, I'll see you soon if I can actually reach the handle or see it. Oh, there it is.
Jonny, time to get up, mate.
Morning! God, it's a nice morning, isn't it? Birds singing, etc. Oh, it's nice and cool breeze. Oh yeah, I've slept really well. I've slept really, really well. Oh, the bed's good. Bed's really good. It's just the right amount of space for one person, like a generous amount of camping space, which is what I suspected. And this, don't know if you can see it with this. I'll grab it. Can I grab it and show you? But this, this roof is lovely. You can just lie back and just observe the weather. It just adds to the coziness. Look, I've got the sun coming in by my feet there. Look, there's my feet. My feet there. And it's that's pretty cool. Actually, pretty cool. So I would give the Caddy Cali, sleep-wise, a high score. Getting dressed, well, that's going to have to be outside or lying down. And cooking breakfast, well, there's a couple of options, but I like it. I kind of like it. And this is the cool thing. If I've got to get up and go, oh my gosh, I've got to take the kids to school because Daddy's been asleep in a lay-by. He hasn't. That's not the scenario. Then I can do it within 2 minutes probably. I'll be away. Breakfast time. In here, these little zip up kind of bags that sit underneath the bed, 2 chairs, and then a table. This is the same table as the other Calis, I reckon, but smaller. Yeah, it is. It's nice actually, very light. And made in Germany. What view do I want? Yeah. I've boiled water to make a coffee. I'm not going to lie to you and say that I used the gas stove because I didn't. Not because I didn't bring gas, I forgot to bring a receptacle to boil water in. So I've actually used an electric kettle using electricity for the purpose of this. But what I have got, you see, the Cali, you remember me showing this to you earlier, the storage around here and all this sort of thing. In here, these sort of office style filing cabinets, they come out a long way. This one here, come and have a look. Come on in. You've got storage in here. So get my breakfast bits out. When I look at stuff like this, I think there's probably a cooler way of doing it in the aftermarket. You could probably buy a Caddy and do some of this yourself, but are you really going to do it? There's a lot of people that will, there's an awful lot of people that probably won't, they'll just talk about it. And of course this is all warranted, so it does make a bit of a difference. Muesli. I don't know, it's just cosy, isn't it? I know you could look at this and go, it's a bit too basic. There's not enough going on here, Jonny. And I do understand that, but it's a good starting point. You could look at these things and you could say, oh, I could do this to myself. I could do this myself with a van. You absolutely could, and there'll be people out there that will and should. A lot of people that will talk the talk but won't walk the walk. So this at least has it all as a starting point. I've just enjoyed cruising it around, frankly. This one's got the most power out of all of them, but it's still an 11-second to 62 car. So definitely a cruiser, and not an intense driving experience. It's actually a softer drive than the T6 California, I'd say. That seems to be erring on the firmer side. This is soft, and there is a bit of body roll, which I'll probably experience coming out of this village and into the twisties. I'd really enjoy having one of these as an EV with like e-Golf style or e-Up style running gear. It'd be interesting for me. And it'd be nice to have some of the sort of ID inspired colourful fabrics, because it is a bit monotone going on in here. But I think when you look at the prices of a lot of recreational vehicles right now, and the residual values of anything with the California badge on it, it bodes quite well for buying one of these at sort of 32 to 35 grand, enjoying it as a real family car most of the time, and having it as a kind of short-term adventure camper for 1 or 2 nights away. My worry with the Caddy California was that it was too simple and maybe too basic to be a worthy camper van and a worthy contender. But actually, having spent the night in it and driven it a good few days, I'm of the opinion that it's a decent thing. I don't like the way it looks particularly. I think it is too dowdy, and I wish it had some sort of two-toneness about it or some interesting wheels, but I guess that could be modified. And I don't particularly like the interior textiles and plastics, but what I do like is what it provides for you. What it provides for you is a much more uncompromised everyday car with the ability to have 1, 2, 3 nights away with your family or you on your own and enjoy it. Question is, what do you think? What do you think of the Caddy California? I'd love to know your comments. Put them in this video. It is from £32,000. It is much cheaper than all the other Californias, albeit smaller, but the residuals should be extremely buoyant. Thanks for watching this Late Break Show review. If you'd like to subscribe and you haven't already, what are you doing? Subscribe. If you'd like to become a Patreon, and for a couple of quid a month, you can get access to videos like this earlier. I dare you. Or you can buy some merchandise like this or this. It's product placement. I know. I'm being cheesy. Thanks for watching.